This is it, it's finally happening. I'm going to show you how I make my YouTube videos. I will share all the devices that I use, softwares, and every step I take during the process of making a video. I picked an interesting topic and made a quick video live, recording every step that I take from beginning to end. I will show you all the footage in this video, but a sped up version so that this video doesn't get too long. But if you want to watch a more extended version of the process, I've opened up a channel membership for the price of just a cup of coffee, where you can support the channel, you'll be able to use some stickers on comments, you will get access to the extended videos I filmed, and you'll be able to ask me personal questions and guidance. Otherwise, again, I will show you everything in this video for free. The reason why I'm making this video is because I basically want more people to create educational videos. Whether that may be through animated videos, vlogs, or whatever. I want more people to learn how to teach, basically. I create videos based on how my brain processes information visually, and I want to encourage other people to do the same. Your unique approach may resonate with somebody else's learning style, you know? So whether you're a student, a teacher, an aspiring content creator, or you're just curious in general, I really hope you can benefit from this video. So without further ado, in this video, I'm first going to share my current devices and softwares that I use. And I say current because there has been a lot of changes along the way. Then we're basically going to make a video together, kind of take you step by step through the process of making a video. Alright, let's get started. My current devices. I will put links to everything in the description of this video, but I guess what I will start with is my current computer. The computer I currently use is a Surface Laptop Studio 1 with an Intel Core i7, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB SSD. The reason why I like this computer is because it basically handles all the programs I use, it has a relatively long battery life, and it has a touch feature, which to me is quite handy. Pun intended. What I also like about it is that if you look under here, you will find a small pen. This laptop has this convertible screen feature which basically allows you to fold the computer into a tablet, and it's quite useful because I like to draw quite a lot. I like to draw structures for videos, but it has also been quite useful to me during medical school since I like to take notes on lecture PowerPoints. I can, if you guys want to, also make videos on how I actually studied during medical school, but this is not an advertisement. I am not an expert on computers or specs. This is just basically my own experience from using this computer, but Microsoft really nailed the build quality on this one. Alright, so that is the computer. The current microphone I use is a USB studio microphone called Trust GXT252 Emita streaming microphone. Not super expensive, I think I bought this one for like 80 euros. It's a quite good microphone. It comes with an aluminium flight case, which might look a little suspicious, but I like it. It's quite handy when you're moving around. It comes with a metal stand, a double screen pop filter to minimize the plosives like P's and B's, and a foam cap to remove blowing sounds. Only thing about this computer is that it doesn't really have any USB port, so you have to use this USB to USB-C adapter. Alright, so those are the main devices that I use. Now for the softwares. The main softwares that I have used over the previous years are all shown here. It's Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Complete Anatomy, BioRender, Camtasia, and Audiate, and some accessory ones as well like Canva and AI speech enhancements. So Microsoft Word, I guess you're all familiar with it. I use it primarily to write down my script or some notes which I use to record my videos. PowerPoint, I think most of you already know what it is too. But what it does is that it allows you to set up a presentation with some cool animations, and it's quite easy to use. Now, to make my videos, I have to plan, find sources and graphics. There's a program I've been using since 2017 called Complete Anatomy, which is an advanced 3D anatomy platform that has helped me learn anatomy during medical school and also help prepare for my videos. This do require a license, but in my opinion, it's worth it if you're a visual learner. I did buy an anatomy book, but I had no use for it other than it being a decoration in my apartment. This program allows you to basically add and remove structures. You can see pathways of nerves and vessels, see detailed images of certain structures, and you also have a detailed description of each structure you click on. The other useful software I've been using is called BioRender, and I'm kind of starting to like this one a lot. So BioRender is a platform that allows you to create scientific graphics, and it helps you with that through a rich library of icons and templates of various things, especially also within the cardiovascular system, nervous system, and so on. But it also allows you to kind of shape and color your own structures. So this is also a really good platform that I've been using. Then we got Camtasia. Camtasia is a screen recorder and also a video editing program. It's a very easy to use program and it fits perfectly if you got absolutely no experience with video editing. You can just drag and drop whatever annotations and animations you would like into your videos, add animations, filters, and so on. I've also recently started using Audiate. This is a program created from the same company as Camtasia called TextSmith. And what it is that it transcribes your recordings into text, which allows you to edit the audio using that generated script. So basically you record your script through Camtasia, then Camtasia gives you the ability to edit the script using Audiate. Then you just put together sentences and delete words, then add the edited recording back into Camtasia. It really speeds up the process of editing the voice recording, and it really has saved me a lot of time. Alright, so those are the main devices and softwares that I'm currently using. Again, I'll put links to everything in the description if you want to start using them. Now finally, let's go ahead and make a video together. When I make a video, there are 7 steps that I primarily go through from start to finish. And keep in mind that I'm not a professional at this. This is all self-taught. There might be better ways. I've just been learning along the way, and I'm primarily only using things I find easy to use. So the 7 steps are planning, making the presentation, script writing, audio recording and editing, PowerPoint screencasting over the edited audio, video editing, and there's the last step, which is finalization. Basically proofreading, writing a short summary for the description, and making a thumbnail using Canva. Alright, so again, I made a live recording, basically going through all the steps, but the footage got a couple of hours long, so I'm only going to show you a sped up version in this video so that this video doesn't get too long. The extensive videos and the final product video about sepsis are all uploaded separately in this channel, available for channel membership. I did it this way just to stimulate the channel a bit. You know, I would really appreciate it if you guys join the membership. But again, I will show you all the steps here in this video as well, for free. And ask questions if you guys have any. I will try to answer all the questions I see. You know, nothing of this is secret. I'm not a professional at this. Alright, so first off, planning. Planning is the first stage of my video making process. So first off, we need to choose a topic. So how about we talk about sepsis? I just recently had a sepsis case at the hospital. That's why it's still fresh in my mind. So let's make a quick video about sepsis, and this is not going to be a very detailed video. This is just going to be an example of how I make my videos from start to end. So this is live, okay? I'm going to do this live. And what's important for the planning phase first is to choose a specific topic and start opening some sources. So for that, we will use Harrison's Principles of Clinical Medicine. This is the 21st edition, and I'm blurring it because I just read that I'm not allowed to show anything from this book. But as you see, I'm also opening the internet, I'm looking for some guidelines, and make sure that you're using up-to-date guidelines because treatments and diagnostic centers change with the years. Alright, so we have an idea of what we're going to present. We gathered the sources, you do some reading, and have an idea of how you're going to present the topic. Then we're now in the second phase, which is making the presentation. And so let's open up PowerPoint. That's the program I primarily use to make the presentations. I used to make them on Keynote when I had a Mac. But the first thing I do is change the background to black. It's just a personal preference. I like it because I feel like it enhances the other colors more. And what I also like to do is change the slide format to standard because it leaves less dead space while presenting. Again, it's all a personal preference. This is just how I do it. Then as I speed run through the presentation making here, I first start with a quick intro slide, then a slide which outlines what we're talking about. So for this video, I want to first answer the question, what is sepsis? We will have some slides about the clinical features, clinical criteria, and measures and treatment. For the first slide under what is sepsis, we will specify it by talking about the definitions of it, pathophysiology, and causes. And you see that I try to make it colorful, at least try to make a color coding throughout the video. And keep in mind, I'm only doing this to show you how I make my videos, not to make an actual detailed video here. But now we need some pictures, which we can add into the presentation. And for that, I will use BioRender, which I showed you earlier, which has a lot of illustrations and templates. So here I'm just gathering some illustrations that we can use for the presentation, choosing the closest thing that can resemble sepsis. Then I need to add some animations to our slide. So here I'm adding some animations to our text so that they appear after each other. And so this is how I do it. I go back and forth between my sources, try to make illustrations to highlight certain things like the pathophysiology of sepsis and so on. And I try to make it as engaging and as easy to understand as possible. I am adding illustrations, I'm continuously adding text and figures, adding animations, adding maybe a mnemonic here and there, and maybe even a chart, which can make the explanation part so much more easier, right? We're using our sources to create the presentation on PowerPoint. This is a super sped up version, but this is basically how I do it for the second phase. The third phase is making the script. So we have planned, gathered some sources, finished making our presentation outline. Now we're going to make a script. Some people don't use a script and some people do. I prefer reading of a script which aligns with the presentation, as it makes the job of recording much more easier. I might start talking freely without the script in the future, who knows, but for now this is how I do it. So for the script part, I'm only speedrunning through here, but you see how I go back and forth between the sources and the presentation to make the script? That's basically all I do for this step. Now just try to make it as engaging as possible and try not to use words you otherwise wouldn't use in your daily life, because otherwise you will be sounding like a robot reading that text. Alright, so now that we're done with the script, we need to record it. So that's for our fourth phase, which is script recording and editing. To record the script, I basically use Camtasia. I open that program up, hit record, then just talk through the script we just made. After recording the script, I right click on the recorded media and tap on Edit with Audiate. Again, Audiate is a really useful program to me because it speeds up the phase where I edit my script recording. Basically, it listens to your recorded media, transcribes your words into text, then you can now basically edit the text to finalize the recording. There might be a lot of errors, or your tone is wrong, or you notice a mistake while recording, so it's nice to have a program which can basically correct those things easier. Before Audiate, I used to edit the recording directly on Camtasia. It works, but it might take a little longer time. So after you've done, you've exported it into Camtasia again, and you start with the fifth phase, which is screencasting. For this phase, I basically go into Camtasia, hit the record, then play my recorded and edited media of the script. And then I basically just follow the presentation based on what I'm saying in the recording, basically aligning the presentation with the recorded script. After that, you have now got your edited media and your screencasted presentation both on Camtasia, and you can now begin the fun phase, which is the sixth phase, the video editing. For the video editing phase, I like to divide it into two parts. The first part is editing the presentation screencast so that it aligns with your audio recording. So you basically just listen to your own recording, you cut the screencast media to align it as much as you can with the audio. That's what I like about Camtasia, it's very easy to use, especially for people who don't have any prior knowledge or experience with video editing. The second part of video editing is kind of adding extra things to make the video more engaging and understandable. So it's basically adding annotations, animations, and transitions, which are all available in Camtasia, as well as adding other structures from other platforms like BioRender, and adding some behaviors to those pictures to further facilitate the learning process, as you see here. You can move your screen to the side, explain other things, and then move it back into the main screen again. So there's a lot of things you can do here. So what we're basically doing is that we're emphasizing what we're saying by adding pictures or text that jumps in and out from the screen. This stage is the stage where you can add a lot of different things to your video to make it engaging. Once you're done, we can now export the video and then go on with the last phase, which is finalization. basically proofreading through your videos, look for mistakes. I also used to make a small summary and a section for sources, which I put in the description of each video. You can use Canva to make a nice thumbnail for your videos and so on. And so that's it. That's basically all the steps I take in creating my videos. All the tools I use are within the programs I showed you. It's not hard, everyone can do it, and I urge everyone to start if this is what you want to do. I really hope you found this video helpful, and at least that it motivated you to start making some educational videos. And I just want to end this video by saying that I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribed, leave a comment. And for those of you who really found this helpful, I would also appreciate it if you guys join the channel membership to support the channel. Alright guys, good luck. Peace.